Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm sitting here today with Ryan Allen, who is the owner of Lancelot College and media broadcast presenter, and we're sitting in lovely Hampton Court outside.
It's raining down a bit as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit rainy. You're going to hear some traffic. Basically, we tried to shoot indoors earlier. It was very noisy. So we're outside, Maida, and we're going to be talking today about what is happening with the teacher crisis, what is happening in schools today, and how parents factor into that equation. So let's begin. So why are so many teachers leaving the classroom, Ryan?
Well, it's a very good question. They're leaving the classroom specifically because of the fact that they've got so much stresses and strains and expectations of marking, and work-life balance is dismal. So, you know, most people want to have a career where they've got a good work life, where they can do their work, go home and relax and spend time with the family and friends. And when you're a teacher, it's very, very different. You have to be incredibly well organised to the point where you've actually organised your personal life in order to be able to just to survive as a teacher. And it sounds really dramatic, but it's not. It is the very issue why teachers leave the profession. You know, I stepped away from the traditional classroom, I can say, and decided to create my own company because I wanted a better work-life balance. And I think we have a big retention issue within the UK, which everybody knows, and that, you know, the reason why teachers are leaving isn't because of the salary, though I believe it should be higher. But it's purely because of the work-life balance, because they went into the profession. We went into the profession because it was our love and our passion. Not all teachers have a passion for and a love for teaching necessarily. It was always because it looked quite exciting, thrilling, because the government was giving bursaries. But the majority of teachers are there because they just want to teach and they love working with children, and that's what it's about. But yeah, so that really leads me on to my next point. It does, doesn't it?
Whatever happened to the enjoyment? It seems like it's all about standards and tick boxes.
And
you know,
grades
what's
and
happened
numbers.
to that, and how does that trickle down to the children?
Well, what can I say? I think that there should be enjoyment. It should be enjoyment for teachers and for children, and we're all getting bogged down with grades and assessments. This is the thing that we're focusing on at the moment. It should be about the love of learning.
Absolutely.
It should be about the love of learning, and I don't think actually. Firstly, teachers need to love what they do. They need to love the whole excitement and the thrill of working with children who didn't get the idea or the concept, and they learnt how to get the concept. I think that, you know, when we're constantly bogging ourselves down with or looking at constantly the grades and the assessments, it just stops the enjoyment process. It stops me as a teacher enjoying the whole process of learning and teaching, because I'm learning from my students as much as I'm teaching them. And if I'm not open to wanting to be happier and to want to explore that whole level of enjoyment by seeing the excitement and the thrill for my students, then that's going to be the biggest issue of all. But certainly focusing on assessment is important. I have to mention the fact there that we do need to be clear where our students are. So I know that assessment is important, so I'm going to say that straight away. But I do also feel that it is vital that we get a balance between assessment and the joys of learning. You have to have both to be in the school environment and in the system of education. Education is not just about numbers, it's about people.
It sounds like such a tough balance to achieve.
It is.
What about sort of the lack of funding? What impact is that having on everything?
Well, lack of funding, I would say that the government has cut so much from the school system, and so we've had staff cuts, so particularly schools that used to get their funding would have to have less teachers, or teachers would have to cover more than one subject, and also TAs would often, which are teaching assistants who help us as teachers get things done. You know, I know for a fact there are teaching assistants right now that are covering 3 classes or more in a school. Which has a huge impact on the teaching profession. It has a huge impact on teachers in general, and it can also cause confusion, because when a teaching assistant is actually covering a lesson or supporting 2 or 3 lessons, then they have to manage their time well, and it puts massive pressure on the TA, and they also leave. So it's not a good idea. We need to do something. We need to increase the funding. How we do that is what the Prime Minister needs to do is think about and consider what we as teachers go through, what head teachers and leaders have to go through, trying to juggle all of their staff, and at the same time have a welcoming, warm, 360 wellness, wellbeing school.
It all just sounds so complicated. I mean, as a parent, I think I sort of, mirror the fact that a lot of parents don't really understand what is gone. Where does this leave parents?
Confused. It leaves them very, very, very confused. They're very demoralised by the fact that the system of education at the moment for their children is unclear. Parents will come to school and they'll drop the kids off and they'll expect their child to be learning as much as they should be, but at the end of the day, teachers are under a huge amount of pressure and they're not able to offer the total one-to-one that they would hope for, which means that when your child is getting a report from school, you may hear very positive statements and your child may very well be doing very well at school, but when it comes down to the figures and the assessments and what the skill sets that a child should have, they may not reach those points. So I would urge most parents to take careful consideration about the reports, ask questions, go into schools and ask questions about where your child really is at, and be clear with teachers that you want to know the truth. We as teachers, and most teachers who may be watching this right now, you know very well that we give all the positive responses and we say all the right things, but actually we do need to be more honest with parents about what's going on, and we can have those one-to-ones during parents' evenings, or we can have them after school. So, but definitely, I think parents need to be kept in the loop more, and they're not.
I couldn't agree more
and that
with
is the key thing. I would say is to what's the hope for the future for parents is to ask more questions and to find out where their child is at.
Well, thank you, Ryan. That was so fascinating. I mean, I'm really I'm really concerned. I'm sure you watching this, over there are probably feeling quite concerned. But hopefully, that gives you a little bit of insight into what exactly is going on with the teacher crisis. Ryan is going to be doing a lot to try and understand and hear the voices of parents, to hear the voices of teachers. So, keep an eye out. We'll probably be doing a follow-up for this. I'm pretty sure that will happen. Keep an eye out on my blog. We're going to be keeping you up to date on what exactly is going on and how we're going to tackle some of these issues through Ryan's initiative. So, parents, are you concerned? What are your concerns? Do leave a comment below. Teachers, if you're watching this, does this resonate with you? Please do leave a comment below. Please do hit subscribe and a thumbs up. If you have something that you want to ask Ryan, leave a comment below again, and look out for more for Ryan.
Yeah. Well,
okay.